Okay, so I've got a radical, and I do see an x squared, but it's got this 2x here. So I'm thinking if I had a squared minus x squared, I could do that trig substitution, right? But this x is in the way. That's when I want to complete the square. Okay, so I'm going to pull it outside of the radical, and remember, you want to have a positive 1 in front of the x squared. So I just pulled it out of the radical and wrote it in descending terms. Now I'm going to factor out a negative. Now I'm going to complete the square. So I'm going to take half of this number and square it. So half of 2 is negative 1 squared is positive 1. And add that. Oh, but I didn't really add it. I really subtracted it. So now I'm going to add 1. So this thing, whoops, I dropped a square, didn't I? This is x squared. So this will be x minus 1 quantity squared plus 1. So I'm putting that back into the radical, right? So I'm going to suggest that we put the subtraction sign in the middle. So 1 minus x minus 1 squared dx. Always easier to see what's going on with the negative in the middle. After I complete the square, I like to do a u substitution. So I have square root of 1 minus u squared du. Okay, now I can see that it's a trig substitution with a is 1. So 1 sine theta du is cosine theta d theta. Good to go with the trig substitution like I was thinking in the beginning. We just needed to complete the square to start it off. All right, so let's bring it up here. So I get square root of 1 minus, putting sine in for u, sine squared theta. Du is cosine of theta, d theta. Let me go slow here. So this is cosine squared theta under the square root. So square root of cosine squared is cosine. So this cosine times this cosine gives me cosine squared. What do I do with cosine squared? Right, I need to use the half angle formula. So the half angle formula is 1 plus cosine of 2 theta. Carry the 1/2, take the antiderivative of 1 with respect to theta is theta. Little La Jolla theorem here. Okay, so now I know in order to get back to x's like I started with, I need to use the triangle with this. So this is the same thing as saying u over 1 is sine of theta. So opposite over hypotenuse. Find the other side. Okay, so now a couple of things here. Remember, the only time I use the inverse is when I've got the theta. So if I'm going to take the inverse of u, that's theta. And remember, you must change this. You must change this to 2 sine cosine. So carry the 1/2 theta, and then this is 2 sine cosine, so that will cancel with the 1/2. So I get the sine of theta, cosine of theta. So now I can finish it off, and in for the theta, I can put in inverse sine of u. Sine of theta is u. Cosine of theta, we 1 minus u squared over 1 plus c. And to finish it off, put back what the u is equal to. And what was the u equal to? The u is equal to x minus 1. So x minus 1, square root of 1 minus x minus 1 squared plus c.